It didn't take very long at all for new Suns owner Matt Ishbia to find out the level of disrespect the NBA had for his new team. And this is probably what spurred so many radical changes in such a short time. Trading away the future for a shot at the present, replacing the head coach soon after, and then completing a bombshell of a trade this weekend that has created huge expectations for a new big three in Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and now Bradley Beal. One of the biggest weaknesses for the Suns offense after the trade deadline was what happened once Kevin Durant or Devin Booker created openings for the role players based on their supreme gravity. While getting something out of Damian Lee and Landry Shamet worked sometimes, more often than not, they relied on Cam Payne, Terrence Ross, and Josh Okogie to attack in space, and this simply wasn't a recipe for success against the really good teams in the West. You can see how concerned the defense is with KD attacking a mismatch out top that Aaron Gordon completely ignores Payne to force the pass, and Payne foolishly steps out of bounds on his drive. Lest you think that was an anomaly, he did it again here as KD bends the defense toward his side of the floor, and Payne turns it over by stepping too far back and on the sideline. With the help of the Ayton ball screen, Booker will draw two defenders, forcing KCP to bump down to the roll man, opening up a three ball for Ross, who struggled mightily from behind the arc all playoff long. Okogie was particularly problematic as the Nuggets were willing to send a wild double team at KD despite Booker being on the floor, knowing they could then double Booker on his drive and dare Okogie to beat them from the corner, and this kept happening time and time again, which had to be particularly frustrating for the big two, considering how far the defense could load up on both of them and take away their shooting opportunities. Now it's time to imagine how Beal could feed off the focus on Booker and KD. Ayton sets the ball screen and rolls, KD's man won't leave him at all costs, while Beal's man would have to bump down to the roll. Booker has really improved his skip passing in recent years, and Beal is very solid catching and shooting in the corners. Last year, Beal was lights out from behind the arc on the left wing, and it wouldn't be hard to spread Booker to the right corner, Beal in the left, and have KD run pick and roll, with Beal lifting to that left wing for an easy jumper. I think a big key for the Suns is to find shooters to play alongside the big three and Ayton, since they'll generate so many open looks. I like how they turned this post up for Ayton into a pick and roll close to the basket, and another example of Booker's improved skip passing. This is an open look and then an even better one as we imagine Beal playing in space. It's really hard to know what Frank Vogel is going to run on offense, and looking at his career as a head coach, he's never been able to coax elite offense out of his guys. Even his title-winning Lakers squad with LeBron and AD couldn't crack the top 10. But these three guys should definitely help him get into top 5 status, and he'd be wise to use some of what worked last year, like this pistol action for Booker coming out of the left corner. Instead of Terrence Ross trying to create off the dribble, it would be Beal attacking, and he's orders of magnitude better than anybody on the team not named Booker or Durant. And if they can get KD and Booker working together, like in this Spain pick and roll, where Booker back screens the ball screener's man, it would open up tons of space for Beal, who could hit this three-pointer reliably, or use his clever ball fakes to get to the hoop with a strong finish at the rim. Thankfully, the Suns will have all summer to assemble this team and get them all on the same page. And if you're too busy to cook this summer while you're developing your game, then skip the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleanup too by ordering Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits delivered straight to your door. If you're trying to get back in shape for the beach, try Factor's delicious, dietitian-approved calorie-smart meals with no more than 550 calories per serving. You can choose from 34+ chef-prepared options featuring premium ingredients such as broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. Not only is Factor cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. Head to factormeals.com/bball50 and use code bball50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code bball50 at factormeals.com/bball50 to get 50% off your first box, and you'll feel so much better. You'll understand why the key to a successful offense these days is to have that third guy be able to create all manner of shot once the top two guys get jammed up by an overloading defense. The Nuggets actually have two of these guys, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, who make their offense almost unfair. And now, the Suns have a version of this, as both Booker and KD can get off ball as well and let Beal get some run as the lead ball handler in the pick and roll. Look how devastating he can be with his dribble moves as he spins to reject the screen, then draws three defenders to him by getting up in the air before kicking it out and then one more pass for a wide open three. When you see how Beal breaks down the defense and then gets the ball moving to the open shooter, it's clear why his Wizards ranked 11th in passes per game, well above the Suns' 19th ranking, and with this new Suns team, no question, the more passing, the better. Here's some pistol action with the handoff into ball screen, and Beal is underrated as a facilitator, constantly scanning for the open pass, and it wouldn't be hard to see KD feeding off of this play. And in much the same way as Booker has gotten good at skip passes, so has Beal, which will create so much space in the offense that he can simply interchange with the other two and make it almost impossible for the defense to stop. Whomever the defense chooses to help to creates more than enough of an opening for the others, and Vogel has the luxury of always keeping at least two of these guys on the court at any one time while the third can rest. If you're wondering if Beal can play off the ball and be effective, he's one of the best at reading screens. Watch how he comes off the pin down and instantly recognizes Caruso snuck in the gap. He turns it into a flare screen and then finds the little mini bank shot. We'll definitely see plenty of elbow touches for KD, and Beal comes off the pin down looking for the top of the key three, but if the defense plays it well, he expertly flares to the open space and then uses his driving ability to get right to the hoop, protects the ball with his body, and then softly lays it in. I particularly like this action that Vogel should install. A slipped ball screen, then a flare screen to the left side before taking his man to the mid post and pivoting back into a curl for a wide open look from behind the arc. The Suns' offense is already littered with plenty of pin downs for Booker, who's been able to hunt for more threes than Beal does. And it's something Vogel needs to convince Beal to do, since the Suns ranked 20th in three-point frequency last year. And in the playoffs with KD, that number plummeted even farther. Beal used to be an elite three-point shooter earlier in his career, and I think it would make all this work better for everyone if both Booker and Beal could utilize these pin downs for more triples and less middies. Defensively will be the biggest challenge, and at least they've got a coach who knows how to build elite defenses, which he's done for two of the teams he's coached. Okogie is a very good defender and willing to give up most of his energy on this end to make plays. And I think Ayton is very solid as a mobile big man who can contain the pick and roll well. In the playoffs, we can expect KD to be a very solid defender even at this stage in his career, but it's both Booker and Beal that are causes for concern. However, they've already got enough support around them to be pretty stout. I will say, going through some Beal footage from last year, there's plenty of evidence of his ability to keep guys in front of him and get stops. I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't have to look very long to find these types of clips, even against elite offensive playmakers. And since Beal won't have to expend as much energy on offense, he'd have some left over for this end, and if you're a Suns fan, you have to be encouraged big time. Last year, the Suns ranked 7th in defensive rating during the regular season, but after getting KD situated, they could barely defend anybody, and they have to hope Vogel can shore this up in a hurry. The key to his defense with the Lakers was how they'd ice the pick and roll so consistently well, and it adheres to a no-middle policy. By keeping the ball on the side and towards the baseline, the team defense can severely limit open threes and fouls on the shot. And using no middle tends to simplify everything so you can focus on getting the most energy out of each player. The most pressing thing is signing more players. Their payroll has already ballooned, and I'm not sure that this team is going to necessarily attract good veteran players willing to take a break on their salaries. Perhaps there are guys like D'Angelo Russell or Seth Curry or Will Barton who would be willing to sign there knowing they get plenty of opportunities alongside the big three. So it's an interesting balancing act they need to handle in a hurry. I don't think this team has enough pieces to legitimately contend for a title next year, but that can change if they sign some surprises or make some sort of trade with Ayton that brings in a really good 3-and-D player. But then, who plays center well enough for them to get deep into the playoffs? There are a lot more questions than answers with this team, but the one thing I do feel confident saying is that this team will earn Coach Vogel the highest offensive rating rank he's ever had in his career.